Hello. That's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are in the world. And welcome, everyone. You have found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. We're all linked together by the golden thread. We are all lighthouses, beacons of truth, and guiding the way. Through deep conversations and shared wisdom, we illuminate the path and heal through truth ourselves. And hopefully, we give you something to heal yourself with too. So here we go, Easter Friday.
Yes.
We are already through a quarter of the year. It's just manic. It's
Right?
insane. Absolutely insane. Uh,
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes.
Mhm.
Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy holidays, and hope you are able to spend some time with loved ones and family, or however you celebrate this weekend.
Yes.
But you're right, Angela. Holy Man has this year flown by so far, and we know it's going to keep going faster and faster. Yeah.
Especially this
Right.
year. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Uh, what's coming up for you guys? Alana.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Angela, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my daughter and my son-in-law are away with my daughter's father for Easter. I'm house sitting the fur babies, and so I'm having a really nice, quiet weekend. A really, really wouldn't say cocooning, but more a curious weekend in terms of how things are unfolding. And so, yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks, interesting couple of months. So, yeah, that's what I'm up to this Easter weekend. So I hope you guys have got time with family. Pam, you're back from the Dominican, so nice to have
I
you
am.
back in Canada.
I am. I think I'm feeling a little more grounded right now. I'm not finding the energy quite as chaotic, which is really, really nice. Um, Exciting times for the manifestation of things, right? Like everything's unfolding so nicely. I've decided that I'm taking another course for the next 4 weeks. Um, I think it's probably more like a refresher of tapping into me because I
Mhm.
haven't done that in a while. So I'm doing that, and I guess just reinforcing what I'm already doing. Um, Excited for the evolution of all that's happening. I can just see and feel the beauty in it all that I know not a lot of people can, and I'm sure you guys can understand that and relate to that as well. And just being able to share that with people, it's really,
Yeah.
really cool.
And I think the thing for me that I've really found so really helpful is staying in my own lane without watching, or I mean, it's not about being an ostrich and putting my head in the sand around what's going on in the world, but it's, I think we've spoken about this before. We're powerless over what's going on out in the macrocosm, and the impact that we have on the macrocosm is by making sure that we do the work in our own microcosm. And that,
Yeah.
as we come together, so the field that we are setting together all has an impact on the energy. And so my choice is to stay in the present, stay where I, kind of bring my head and my feet where they are together, and to just be present and take the next step and do whatever comes up next. So yeah, it's been quite an interesting time.
Mm. It's similar here of what you're speaking about, Pam, too, of like the manifestation of things coming together so smoothly and cleanly. And like you said, Angela, us here, we're also having a very quiet weekend. Everyone's like the kids and grandkids are away. So having a quiet weekend of not just being within and enjoying that center and peace. But also, like you said, Pam, it's very much what's been coming through for me the last few weeks is clarity. So much clarity in what I do, how I do that, and how I support people in the expansion, the creation that we're all creating. Which, Janice, I know you. I would love to invite you to share too, but you had also pulled some cards, which I feel is like rightly aligned with that as well.
Yeah, I
So
did. Okay. So
Tell
these
us about
are
your weekend and where
oh,
you are, and then the card.
okay. Well, first of all, yeah, we're gonna have a full house here on Sunday. Got lots of the kids are coming and the grandkids are coming and
Nice.
everybody's excited. And of course, Easter always has that lightness to it because it's spring and we are just looking forward to putting the winter coats away and having more freedom and spaciousness to move. I love it. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's been a week of very up and down. Like there's been some pretty heavy energies this week that have been moving through, but I agree with the absolute clarity of where I am going in my business and me personally. I mean, it's entwined together, but the
Yeah.
clarity of who I am and how I've held myself back
Mm,
through identity.
yep.
And that is become really clear and very exciting. And I have a new free masterclass coming up. It's called The Prosperity Shift, and it is all about success without self-abandonment. And because we've as women, especially in business, we have been taught to um build business in a certain way.
Mhm.
And oh my gosh, I'm so tired with those rules of people saying, well, you need to do it this way. And if you really want to take it up to the next level, you need to have this click funnel and these optimizations. And it's like, no,
I'm
I
with you
want
on
to
that.
yeah, I want to build organically, energetic
Mhm.
frequency and and being able to you stand powerfully in that without being swayed and go, wait a minute, no, I get to do it my way. So that's what this masterclass is about, and we can you guys are all nodding, so I'm like, well, this
Yeah.
would be a
I'm,
conversation to have.
I'm,
But our cards that I picked for us, 2 cards fell out, and this is, one of my favorite decks is Angels and Ancestors, by Kyle Gray, and, as soon as I got this deck, it was like, "Oh my god," I resonate to it so incredibly, so it never leads me astray. But the first card I saw was the Great Teacher, which is very cool for this weekend because that's a oops, look at me. My camera went funny. The Great Teacher, it's an image of Jesus and of course the white dove, with the flower of life symbol behind. And this is about learning from spiritual experiences. And it's funny because, well, not funny. I think intentional. I've seen a lot of posts of, well, what would Jesus do? And, I'm not pushing any religion on anyone. And I certainly kind of walk the middle road, but that's been coming up a lot. So the spiritual experiences, I think that's what we do. That's what we do in our business. Our business reflects where we are and what we're learning and how we're growing and moving forward. And the people will find us there. And then the second card was the Magic Guardian. And this one is all about unlocking that magic within. Like, let that magic out, let it radiate, let it shine, and let it shine your way. But
Right?
knowing that we do have that, oh my gosh, that beautiful essence, that magic of that power that we can align with and slip into that, that slipstream, that current, move into that and let yourself go from there. And
I,
yeah, go
I'm just
ahead and
smiling. I'm so smiling. I don't know whether you and I kind of meet each other somewhere in the astral, because when you were working with coherence, I was working with coherence. When you mentioned self-abandonment, I've been working with it all week. It's just, I just found it so funny that, and again, it's just the way that the field works is that,
Oh,
the
it's so
goes.
clarified. Angela, I have to tell you though, what this morning, like I've been kind of, what's my theme for coming into the new next week? I have my group on Wednesday, the Abundant Joy Path to Prosperity, but I'm letting the universe kind of move us. And I'm like, what's coming next week? And I really felt like, okay, we've been talking a lot about fear frequencies and identifying different fears within you. And I had that epiphany with you last week, Angela. That just moved right in. And now I'm like, I feel like we need to move into the joy part now. Not fears. Let's move into the joy. And then this morning I was really like, okay, that identity, like, who am I? And I started looking at recognizing, like, how I put myself into this little identity, and I it just was an internal shift for me. I've done identity work a lot, but there was something that shifted this morning. Well, lo and behold, I open up my Facebook feed, and another coach is on there talking about identity. And then and then
Uh,
I see the Mel Robbins podcast, and I'm like, "Ooh, that looks good." And she's talking to, Erin Walsh about the intentional art of dressing, like, dressing
Mm.
for your identity, and I'm like, "Okay, that's our theme, got it."
got it. Got it.
And that's the way it works, right? It comes
Mhm.
Yeah.
through. So
So, so what was interesting for me working with this whole question of self-abandonment was as we go on the continuum and we move more back into balance, it's self-honoring, which has
Mhm.
been really wow. It's been amazing. So, as you're talking about, we're dealing with the energies of transmuting fear, transmuting it into what? And
Mhm.
so that what starts to become quite relevant. So I've been working with this week with the whole question of self-honoring. I've done a lot of work around self-abandonment for a few months now, but now shifting into, and it's so interesting, the different layers of how we abandon ourselves. Um, and on so many different levels, so many different things. And just the value of the pause to come back into, okay, I recognize you, I honor you, and now I move into honoring myself in this space. So it's been quite a journey. But yeah, it makes me giggle. The fact that, and I think Pamela, you were saying that at the beginning is that you were talking about your new website and how the colors we share and the kind of energy and the collective energy and vibration that we bring together is just incredible. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
And it is what's lovely about it is it's very organic. It's nothing forced in any
Yeah,
capacity, and it's not something that's planned. Like,
no,
even I notice even some of the language that we're using is very similar, and I don't think it's just the 4 of us. I think that, again, on a collective level, right?
Yeah.
yep,
And the honoring yourself, and so for people who are watching, it's really about recognizing that a lot of times we spend our life playing small. And Janice, you spoke to that with, that internal shift that you had today. Where are we still hiding? Or
yep,
what are we still hiding?
Mm.
Right? And when we
yep,
can embrace, I think we get so consumed and caught up in working in the shadow side, right? Clearing things that we forget to step into. Hey, wait a minute. There's that light. Step into the energy of that light and allow it to shine. Yes, we need to do the work, on the shadow
yep.
side for sure. But we can get all consumed with that, think that we need to be fixing everything all the time, and it prevents us from being. So, for those of you that are watching, if you find that you're getting consumed in that, I want you to take a moment and just sit with, what is the light that you have? What are you bringing to the
Mhm.
world? Right? Because even though you may not be out there doing work in the same way we are, and this is what a lot of people, I think they strive for, but we're making a difference even when we're unaware we're making a difference in our own
Yes,
little bubble, because
Yep.
it's in our own little bubbles, in our own little worlds, and they're not so little, but they're little in the grand scheme of things. It's that element of it has a ripple effect. So I don't want people looking at us and saying, "Oh my god, I gotta be like them." No,
Mhm.
just do and
no,
be you
mhm,
where exactly you are at, because you are making a difference in your world. Even if it seems like you're stuck in some shadow stuff, or maybe you haven't been so nice. You know what? I've had moments in my life where I haven't been nice. But
Mhm.
in that not being nice, it's helping someone else to step into their light. It's helping someone else to grow. And so the orchestration of that, we have no control over, and we have to let go of the judgment around that.
100%. I know I was having a conversation with the community that I am hosting. I did a 14-day experience of becoming, and in the conversation, we're having having that same conversation, I guess. I was trying to find another word, but having that conversation around the darkness, and we do need to have that shadow, that dark in order to see the light. But even in the darkness, and this is one of the things I expressed in there is like, but even at night when there is darkness, there are still light. There is still the stars in the sky. And it's a matter of what you focus on in those experiences. You can get caught up, like you said, Pam, you can get caught up very much in the darkness and focusing on that dark. But in my mind, it's like, but there's in every opportunity, there's always the light. And it's, yes, there's more darkness at that time than light, but it's the choosing to focus in on the beauty of the stars and the opportunity that's there. And it's that type of shift that, like you said, we bring in more through that. And the ripple effect of us being and doing the work, like you said, even if you're not providing a service, if there's a gift within you or you feel like you want to express, express. You don't need to have a service. You don't need to have an offering. But if there's a gift within you and you're like, I don't even know. I just actually did a live earlier about stepping into the doing of it. We're holding ourselves back from the movement because, like you said, Pam, we are protecting ourselves a little bit. When we start to move forward, there is a fear still that we're talking about, what Janice and Angela, when you were talking earlier about the fear, there is a fear there, but it's moving anyway. And you conquer the fear and having courage by moving through it as you continue forward and sharing anyway. And you cause that automatic ripple effect and give permission to others to be that expression and light, even if it is just sharing a smile or something, like, just do it anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it needs to be a very intentional
Yeah.
decision every day
Yes.
because it's a slippery slope of slipping back down into your old patterns and old ways. Very, very slippery. So when you get up in the morning to, be intentional that, okay, I'm going to move, I'm going to face towards that light, I'm going to move in that direction, I'm going to, see myself differently and offer that to the world. And, what you said, Angela, about there being, many different layers of self-abandonment. I love that because that is exactly it. It's the layers of self-abandonment of, when I talked about identity, it's like, okay, there's this awareness that I had been abandoning the new me
Yep.
and slipping back down into that old version of me without even realizing I was doing it.
Right.
And so that abandonment of who you are becoming, the becoming of you, right? Um, no, we have to intentionally step into that with consciousness, not just, oh, it's another day. And I think that is the difference that's happening out there in the world is people are becoming, instead of every day becoming the Monday routine, they're starting to mundane, not Monday,
Mhm.
mundane routine. They're starting to become more and more conscious of their thoughts and what they're choosing. And it's like, yes, yes, yes. If that's what you're doing, keep doing it because
Mhm.
that is the consciousness growth.
It's
And
intentional in your steps
yes.
and allow what those steps will help to unfold,
Yeah.
right? We're in co-creation with the universe. So it's the intention and having faith that you're being guided, right? Because we're not doing it alone. And I love posing the questions to people to get them to come to that understanding that, you know, we are all consumed for so long that I'm the one making money. The
Mhm.
only way I'm making money is I have to go out and work hard for my money. And
Mhm.
when you can shift that and go, well, wait a minute, where's that money coming from? Oh, well, it's coming from the employee or employer, forgive me. And I'm like, okay, let's take it a step further. And where's it coming from? Who's providing to the employer, right? And just asking those questions and getting to that understanding that it's the universe, it's the God of your understanding that is providing everything. And when you can have the faith that it will come, and yes, we have to take steps, we have to set an intention. But when you step into that faith, it's amazing what we can co-create. You know,
Yeah,
this
well,
this
there you
here
go.
is an example of that. This sacred circle is an absolute
Yeah.
example of that.
100%.
So what I've uncovered in this journey is, and kind of tying some of this all together, is yes, we all do, and we need to work through those shadows. It's also, for me, it's been about understanding where I'm abandoning myself emotionally, physically. So things like if I make a commitment to eat healthily and then I go and nosh all the things that I shouldn't be eating, I've abandoned myself. And this is not again judgment at all. This is just being aware of where we've set an intention, and when we don't honor the intention, we are dishonoring us. We are abandoning ourselves. So physically, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all these little nuances and spaces, things that I say that come out of my mouth, and I go, oh, okay, that's something that I've been. So the thing and the progression for me has been around acknowledging that this is part of the journey. And then a very vital part for me has been about grieving the places where I lost myself. And again, not staying stuck in that grief, but what I've found is that the grief has actually opened up to wisdom. And that wisdom then starts bringing in the self honoring. And I think, Janice, you made a very important point as well. As we progress and step into these new, not only identities, but also new behaviors, new ways of showing up, we need to be developing the spiritual muscle that it's now starts to become neurologically programmed, that becomes our new default setting as opposed to the old one that we're reverting back to. And the only way that we do that is through practice and more practice and more practice, and through learning and being aware and being willing to understand that we're not going to get it right straight away, to have community, to be able to express that. And that then leads us into growing the new muscle or the new default setting that is operating at a higher vibration and higher energy. And that's the kind of continuum that's emerged for me.
The
Yes.
defaulting is a part of the process because we have to be able to go, oh, isn't that interesting? I'll have to stay there now. Right.
Yep.
So it is all that default is a part of the process. And Janice, you spoke to that about this morning, right? With your defaulting to the old version of you. And I love that we get to remember who we are through the defaulting and
Mm.
through the awareness, right? And the conscious intentions.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alana. Yep. Okay. I do. There was something there. The something that came up, the grief, right? The
Mm.
soul grief. So recognizing, I love this topic because when you give up on your dreams, when you doubt yourself, when you think that's not for me, I can't do that, you feel that soul grief. You feel that pain in your heart of, the times when you're like, okay, I give up. I'm not doing this anymore. Forget it. I'm going to just put that dream aside. I'm going to lower my dreams. I'm going to dim my light. You will immediately feel that in your heart. And that is soul grief. That is your soul. You abandoning your soul, you abandoning the dreams that have been placed in your heart. And you've been told that, this is for you. These are your gifts. Go do this. Right. And when you turn away from it, every part of you feels that.
Yeah.
And that's your sign. That's your sign to keep going. Mhm.
Absolutely. And also remembering that a lot of that messaging isn't your own messaging. It's the conditioning that you've been raised with,
Exactly.
Very much.
right? So it's being able to recognize that whose message is that really anyways? And is it truth? Hell no. Right? So remembering that no, you have all you need within you.
100%.
And letting
Yeah.
those old conditioning that and the messages that you've been given that you have internalized and kept feeding yourself over the years. And I know I did forever feed that same narrative over and over. And I don't do that anymore. And it's not being hard on yourself because I'm 64 years old. It's an element of some people would go, my God, it took you a long time. No, it happened when it was meant to happen in order for me to solidify what I needed to solidify to help other people. So that
Um,
people, because there is an element of the wisdom
Yeah.
that when you're younger, sometimes people don't want to look at the wisdom. Not saying that that's realistic, but it's that element of, again, we're working with people who might not be where you're at. So it's an element when they see a younger person, and I don't know, Atlanta, if you have experienced any of this for yourself, where sometimes the people aren't ready to hear what you have to say because of that element,
Oh, yeah.
right? Now, there's wisdom in all of us. It doesn't matter what age we're at. I mean, I've seen 5-year-olds that, man, oh man, if we would just listen to the
Right?
youth and the children, we would be going somewhere.
Well, they're the most divinely connected at that stage, right? So it's like, and
Absolutely.
I hear that too. And what you said too earlier, Janice, is like, we are being called to these gifts, and there's these programs, these spheres. I even just did a live very shortly ago on my own Facebook page of talking about this idea that we have these gifts, and we instead of feeling into them and moving forward, we feel like we don't have enough. We're not ready. These old programs of we spent our entire life collecting information, being taught and trained to need to collect information, to need to know it all, to need to have a clear plan, when that's not how we're meant to move. We're meant to move first and then receive the feedback in order to have create the next step, the next opportunity, the next idea. But most of us have this fear of like, uh, a misplaced fear, because it is misplaced, because we've been taught that we need to have all the things, we need to have certificates, we need to have everything in place in advance before we move, because of control and this old paradigm that we're moving away from now in society in general and government and all the rest of this stuff is that we've been taught that we need to wait, we need to pause, and we don't feel comfortable, we don't feel confident in what's already showing up, what's already within us.
Mhm.
Because we've never been taught to trust ourselves. We've been taught to ask and seek outside of ourselves consistently our entire life in society. So, anyway, that's my
The construct that Janice was even talking about earlier with the
exactly.
business, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Breaking down those constructs. No, ebb and flow. There is huge value in ebbing and flowing. If you put yourself into a business plan, and I've had this conversation with my partner, like, where's the business plan? You know what? There is no business plan. One step at a time, and the universe is going to guide it, because the minute you're putting yourself into a box of that business plan, you are shutting off the many other ways that the universe is showing you
Oh, yeah.
to build.
Yeah,
So agree.
totally.
I mean, I don't know how many times I put business plans together with budgets and none of them ever manifested, ever. Not even close. I
Yeah.
wanted to pick up on something that you were saying, Pamela, and that was that voice, those voices that we pick up on. I remember I can't even remember where I was at the time, but I remember very distinctly that a voice inside my head came up and it was a judgment and it was, one of those brain worms, not even an earworm that had kept, and I don't know what, yeah, obviously there's a universe, there's whatever you may call or want to call a higher power, God, whatever. All of a sudden, for the very first time, I turned my head this way because it was coming from this side. And I looked and I went, that's not my voice.
Mhm.
And the next question was, so whose voice is it?
Hmm.
And I just stayed still. I never did anything. And all of a sudden, my higher power said, that's the voice of your aunt.
Oh.
And she was the one in my
Mhm.
space when I was a little girl whose approval, she withdrew approval from me. And she was the one who, no matter how much she withdrew the approval, I would go into trying to gain her approval. And so the noise that internalized that her voice, I internalized. But it was so interesting, and maybe that's something that our viewers can actually do is if you've got a brain worm like an earworm going round and round and round in your head, and you can feel and know that it's not yours, just turn and ask who it is.
Mhm.
And the minute that comes up, that's when you can start to release it as well. It was such a powerful moment.
Mm.
Yes. Um, I wanted to go back one step too and just say for anyone listening, a different way of seeing this is your heart's desires, the things that you keep in your heart that are there. The you don't have to have we get future tripping We get into the whole like, oh, how am I going to get there? How is that going? That is totally different from who I am. And look at your heart desires like your North Star. They're just a guiding light, kind of like our lighthouse here. It's a guiding light that is saying, come this way. Just take
Mhm.
one step this way, one step this way, because we don't have to have, like guys said, the whole plan, that whole business plan, the whole like, this is who I'm going to be, because I guarantee you it's going to change. Uh, it's going to be like, okay, well, this direction here, this path feels really good. I feel really good. It feels like it lines up with me. I'm going to go one step, one step. Hmm.
Well, it's really funny that you say that too, and this brings us right back to, like, the identity. I'm getting back there, but, like, the first thought too, to go back to the business plan idea, for those that are listening, if you have a business plan, there's nothing wrong with them. And it's just know that it's gonna change. Know that it's a point, it's like a snapshot of where you think you're going to go, and then things are gonna adjust and continue. So it's not wrong, but it's just knowing that it's a place to start, and they are useful. But what I wanna say is, like, the how. We get caught up so much in the how, and I heard this the other day, and it's totally shifted my like, we get like, how do we get rid of the idea of the how? As humans, we're like, we need the plan. Again, we've been taught to know that we need the full plan. So this is why we go back to that business plan. We do need something to start with, but it's like knowing it's going to change, evolve, and grow. But to get rid of the how, it's identity. It's being that identity that already has it done, and the how will show up. The people, the resources, the opportunity show up when you start being that person. So that guiding light that Janice is talking about, that dream that's on your heart, it is literally the guiding light to say, this is the version of yourself you need to become, or this is the thing that is going to lead you to becoming that. You need it. It leads you to the journey of the becoming. And when we do that, we focus on the identity versus the how and the plan, then literally everything happens that you need in order the how solves itself.
Yeah. I remember one of the lines, probably the only line that I ever remember from watching the video of The Secret was, the how is the domain of the universe.
Mhm.
And that just, all the hows just fell away. It's actually none of my business, really. My business is to remain open to how the how is brought into my consciousness.
Could you
Uh,
explain that statement from your perspective, Angela? Because I don't know, just in case people are not quite like, what
the
does that
how
mean?
is the domain of linking to what you're saying around the fact that it is about understanding things like our soul's purpose, the meaning that we have within our lives, the fact that we do have a vision, we have a dream or whatever. I mean, it sounds so nebulous, but that's not what I'm meaning. It's all the stuff that we we um, we filter in from the world of spirit. It's ideas, it's inspiration, it's innovation, it's imagination, all of those things that come into us. And as you say now, we go grasping into, I need to know how to do this. I need to know
Mhm.
how the plan is going to unfold. And how has become the domain of control,
Yes.
because that's what I want. If I know how, then I can step into and I can do that. And behind that how sits the imposter, the voice of the imposter, all of those things around not trusting that our job is just to receive and take, as we've been talking about, all of us have been talking about tonight, take the next step, because more is always going to be revealed. And I think Janice, you mentioned it, and I think you did as well, Pam, what we're talking about here is organic growth.
Yeah.
It is about everything unfolding as it should, instead of us trying to control it, engineer it, design it. Um, you get the idea, or you get a spark of an idea of something that you want to do. What's the next step? Okay, well, maybe I need to do a little bit of research around that. And then maybe the next thing is I need to see who's doing something similar. And so we start to become explorers and investigators. And for me, one of the things that I've put out this month is a zodiac calendar, where with the zodiac, each um, astrological sign has its own energy. And Janice, is so interesting that you've been talking about what you've been talking about, because Aries energy is pioneering. And what
Mhm.
you're talking about today is pioneering my new identity. Um, and so when we move into Taurus, for example, we're talking about stewarding. And so each of the astrological signs is not reading charts. It's got nothing to do with any of that side of astrology. It's around connecting to the cycle that we move through the year. And there the house starts to manifest itself because we're engaging with the energy. So I hope that answers the question if anybody is wanting to know about the how being the domain of the universe. And it's letting go and trusting that more is going to be revealed.
And
It's
also
exciting.
too, it's sorry, Angela, just to touch on that as well. It really is also about we do have a calling, whether we're aware of it or not.
Mhm.
From my own, and I can only speak to my own experience, but I was a counselor long before I actually became a counselor. And I did a lot of different things in my life before I stepped into getting into the profession of counseling. So, but it was something that was within me. I didn't see it that way. So in my human experience, I had to go through a lot of other things to go, okay, nope, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And then stepping into going to college to get my social service worker diploma. And then everything there started to unfold.
Mm.
Yep. Yep.
But I had to go
Yep.
through those other experiences. So we do have a calling. And what I encourage people to do is, what are you, as a child, were you really passionate about?
Yep.
Because that will generally be linked to our calling.
Mine was easy. I used to put my dolls in a row with my teddies and a little blackboard, and I used to teach my dolls and read them stories and write stories and color in and kind of read books. So that was my childhood, and that's what I've done most of my life.
Oh, that's interesting. What was yours, Pam? Oh,
And
she
it came
froze on us.
from
I'm laughing over
what
here because I had the same thing. I lined up my teddy bears. I had a chalkboard. Like I was a teacher, and that's what I do.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, mine was very different when we lost her. I remember being totally absorbed in spirit, in like, why are we here? What's the purpose? And as I was growing up, just searching different religions and churches and that was, being in nature collecting rocks. Like I was just this like kind of deep, and I never wanted to be a teacher. And yet I became a teacher eventually. My kids brought me there, but it was just part of the journey. But yeah, it was more about go deep, and I was constantly questioning everyone, why are we here? How did we get here? Like, how did this table come together? Like, what is it made out of? No one could answer me.
I also remember doing like creating spells and stuff like that. So there's some of that in
Oh,
there
that's
too.
cool. That's cool.
Made
Yeah.
scrolls.
Stars and peace signs and hearts, and
Yeah.
like that is so who I am in on so many levels. But as a
Mhm.
kid, that's just what I did. I didn't realize the connection at the time, obviously.
Well, and you
my
said you counseled from a very young age too, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's
um
funny.
my talking about the spirituality as a child, I grew up in a Methodist home, and my very best thing ever from the time I was little until probably about 6 or 7, like obviously till going to school, was going to Sunday school and singing Jesus Loves Me or at the top of my voice
Love that.
That's
with
so
this
sweet.
huge big grin on my face. And even now I can feel my inner child with that. I have a picture in my bedroom at home that is very reminiscent of a picture that I received as a little girl. When we get those little stamps for the picture that you've drawn or something during Sunday school. And I have this picture. It's huge. And my inner child just loves gazing at that picture. And then she wants to go and sing at the top everywhere. That one and All Things Bright and Beautiful were her two favorite songs at Sunday school.
I love
And
it.
it's so interesting because even today, I mean, I don't follow a traditional Christian religion at all, and it's wonderful for some, and maybe not so. It's not that it's not wonderful. My journey's become, like you were saying, Janice, a lot more multidimensional. And so my father used to say to me, "Have you moved so far away from your family of origin of what we grew up with?" Going, "No, on all my pictures, there he is. He's all over the wall." Um, but it's also just, it's a case of being discerning and aligning with what truth resonates for you.
Yeah. 100%.
There- And it's not about anybody enforcing their truth on you or you enforcing your truth on them. And it is about going on this wonderful exploration of finding out what resonates for us, what works, what doesn't, and what doesn't, leave it and carry on and keep your
Yeah.
critical factors alive with what does work for you and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Mhm. That,
The minute we collapse, sorry, I wanted to just say, sorry, the minute we collapse into somebody else's view of who we should be, what we should be believing, there goes the self-abandonment again.
yes, absolutely. That's what I was gonna say. It's that coming back into a deeper relationship with yourself
Mhm.
and who you are and what your dreams are and your body, the ancient wisdom in your body and just, deepening into that. That's the soul journey, right? And
You know,
having that organic move forward where it is one step at a time, not needing that full plan, but just keep moving in towards that, what lights you up. And you hear that,
mhm.
but when you
Yeah,
start that journey, you really get it.
And
I'm
honor
Right.
still
you, as Angela said before, honor you every step of the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
yes.
giggling because now that you've mentioned that as a child, Dennis, you would, I mean, have to come back to Pam as well. Um, the minute you were talking about the fact that everything that you did as a child was questioning deep and deep, I wonder how many times, if we had to listen to all the recordings, you've used the word deep because it's part of your soul footprint.
It is.
100%.
Go deeper, go deeper. Oh, okay. Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful
So,
conversation,
have
ladies.
you ladies watched the, I think it was 2018 Mary Magdalene movie with Muna?
Yeah.
Oh, do yourself a favor if you haven't watched. I'm gonna watch it again. It's my Easter treat every year. It is a magnificent, magnificent portrayal of, um, the whole journey of Mary Magdalene as the first she was known as the first apostle,
What was it
Mm.
called?
and called Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay.
I can look up for you if you want me to place it in the chat, the name
It's
of the
okay.
actress,
I'll
so
find it.
that people can find it. Oh, and then what I have got to offer you, I've sent it to you, Alana. You can place it in the footnotes of the episode this week. I
Mhm.
have the resurrection meditation.
Amazing. Thank you for that gift
Very welcome.
for everyone.
It
Thank you.
is Mary Magdalene, and it's Rooney Mara is the actress who plays Mary Magdalene, and Joaquin Phoenix plays the life of Jesus. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Thank you for the
Rooney
beautiful share.
Mara,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, Rooney Mara is the actress. If you find her name, you'll find the right movie. It's amazing, 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 amazing movie.
Thank you. I think this is
Good.
a beautiful wrap up. What a beautiful gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Beautiful space to be.
Mhm. So
Are you closing